Right, it's Thursday, so that's another time for me to come back. Andy XL, another NFXL podcast, and this will be part one of my week six preview. So we've got 5 weeks gone. No teams are remaining perfect, but one remains winless. The NFC looks far stronger than the AFC. 14 NFC teams have 3 wins or more. Sorry, 2 wins or more, whereas only 10 teams in the AFC can match that. So the AFC wildcards are still well within reach for teams that are off to a bad start. But if you're trying to make up ground in the NFC, there are a lot of teams to pass to get into the top 7. Detroit and Tampa Bay have the biggest leads in their respective divisions, 2.5 games. So they are probably the best placed teams to make the postseason right now. But as week 5 reminded us, anything can happen in the NFL, so no team can rest on their laurels. What will week 6 tell us? Who can push on from a good position? Who needs wins to improve their situation or to get themselves further up from a low position in their division or conference? And most importantly, who will get them? Now, I suspect, like most pundits, I had a bad week predicting the winners in week 5, and I'm now under 70% for the season. Far from happy with that. 75% is my aim for the season, so time to get back on track in week 6. Bye weeks this week belong to the Vikings and Texans. They get the week off. They're both won in week 5, and going into week 6, the Texans are 2 games out of the AFC South. So we'll hope the Colts and Jags do not win this week. They are also outside of a wild card spot, so we'd like the likes of the Pats, Bengals, and the AFC West teams to struggle to help them in that regard. For the Vikings, the Lions and Packers are ahead of them in the NFC North, so losses for them would help them there. And like the Texans, they are in the middle of a wild card chasing pack, so losses for NFC teams on 2 or 3 wins would help their cause too. Excuse me. Right, let's have a look at the Thursday night game then. An NFC East clash between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants in New York. This will kick the week off. Um, they're both teams coming off week 5 losses, but the Giants are used to that feeling. The Eagles are certainly not. The Giants have to get wins and quickly to avoid becoming irrelevant in terms of making the postseason. The Eagles are now sharing top spot in the NFC conference standings and are just a win clear of the Commanders in their division following the loss last week. So they need a win here to protect both of those positions. Statistically, the only area the Eagles are above average for the season is pass defense. So they've been getting wins without playing well, and they do not need to play well here. May not need to play well here to win this one either. Using the same measures, the Giants have also been decent against the pass and have been average for rush offense too. Their pass defense being good thanks to that very strong pass rush. So a key get to this game could be how the Eagles O-line, who will be without Landon Dickerson, stands up to that pass rush of the Giants. The Giants' pass rush sacked Hurts 4 times in Week 7 last season and is stronger this season with Abdul Carter added to it. So that's going to be a key area of focus. But the Giants' biggest weakness has been against the run. So this could be the game Saquon Barkley gets back to big numbers like he put up in 2025. In week 7 last season, Barkley had 176 yards and a touchdown against the Giants. He was rested for the other meeting in the final week of the regular season, along with most of the Eagles starters. The Eagles have been ball hawking on pass offense too, so Jackson Dart beware. And he will need to be aware of the Eagles' pass rush too, as the Giants' O-line has offered little protection to Dart this season and to Wilson and to Daniel Jones and keep going back. The Giants' quarterbacks have been sacked 14 times already this season. They also have lost star wide receiver Malik Neighbors for the season, and they're without Darius Slayton for this game too. And with them averaging just over 17 points for the season, that will not be enough to beat the Eagles, who are averaging 25 points a game. So I have to take the Eagles to win this one with a bit to spare. Barkley should have a good game, especially considering the Giants are looking thin at inside linebacker and are certainly depleted in terms of depth in that area. So Barkley and the D line, who got Nakobe Dean back for this game, They may well get to dart to disrupt the Giants' passing game, which will likely be decisive factors in in winning this game. So if you're looking at fantasy, I would say Saquon Barkley. Yeah, if you're having doubts about Barkley because he hasn't produced the big numbers this year, stay patient. This could be your week. Both defenses might put up good fantasy numbers this year. That Giants pass rush may get some sacks to offset the points they concede. And the Eagles, I just think they're going to have a good day all round. So my prediction for this game is the Eagles to win this by 27-17. Right, the other game I'll look at in this part of my preview is the Sunday matinee from London, from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Normally a home game for the New York Jets as they take on the Denver Broncos. So the Jets head over to London with an empty bag of wins in their luggage. The Broncos float over on the wings of a road win in Philly that has got them above 500 and into a share of the AFC West lead. So how much fight is left in the Jets could be crucial here. A London game for a team with little or nothing to play for can sometimes be an excuse to take a holiday rather than being properly focused for the game. Seen it in the past, so I'm not disparaging the Jets, I'm just saying it's a possibility. No such issues for the Broncos in terms of focus and desire, but what could be the keys to this game? In terms of results versus performances, the Broncos are the opposite of the Eagles. They rank in the top 10 for rushing offense and defense, and for pass defense, and are mid-league for pass offense. Bo Nix threw 4 picks in the first 4 games, but none in the win over the Eagles. So avoiding those errors has to be an area for Nix to improve on going forwards, because the Broncos are playing well enough to have a better record than they've probably got. Um, Not much good news for the Jets there, outside of the Knicks picks, that is. And a team with no wins is not going to show up well stats wise, but they have run the ball pretty well themselves, albeit without Braden Allen will not help them in that endeavour either, assuming he doesn't make this game. All of which point to a comfortable Broncos wins. Fantasy wise, the Jets have been kind to opposing quarterbacks and running wide receivers, although not necessarily the primary wide receiver is, although Sauce Gardner's maybe not having his best season, he's still been pretty good against them. So Nix and maybe Troy Franklin. I know he frustrates a lot of people, but maybe Franklin could be the best fantasy plays here along with Nix, like I say. So I've got this as another pretty comfortable win for the Broncos by 27 points to 19. So that's the first 2 games of the week covered off. I'll come back with part 2 of my preview prior to the Sunday early window. So probably early on Sunday, you'll see that. But stay tuned into my channel because next up I'm going to have another look at one of the positions for the NFL draft, which is I consider myself to be a real expert in the NFL draft, one of the best well, if not the best that you'll come across. So I'm going to give you an October update on the wide receiver positions. I've already previously done ones with quarterbacks and running backs if you want to have a look at them. But wide receivers will be coming up in the next day or two, and there's certainly some interesting things there. It's a pretty strong class, I have to say, and there's some people emerging. So tune in for that one. See you soon.